Thank you, Amanda, for coming on and being willing to speak with me today. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you regarding your business as well as Googling my business and all the knowledge that you have to share with us, well, and with me specifically, but with everybody today. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here. I'm very excited, as always, to share the knowledge of Google My Business. It's probably the biggest thing that I've been passionate about in the last 5 years.
Yeah. And look, we didn't even plan this. We're both in red. This is just, it's Valentine's Day weekend. So we're loving on life right now.
Yep, I love it. I know. I think that you sent me the signal. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, do you want to tell everybody a little bit about yourself, how you got started in your business?
Sure. So it's kind of an interesting story. So I was managing a credit union. I have three daughters now. Um, and I was managing a credit union, and we became pregnant with the third daughter. And the other two, were in elementary school or getting ready to start. So one was in, what was she in, first grade, and then the other one was still in preschool, but she still went to school. So
Hmm.
um, it was very interesting. And I realized though that I didn't get to spend any time with them as a baby. Like the oldest one, I had a business, a brick and mortar business, and
Hmm.
she was with me at the business, but I basically like wore her and worked. And so there was none of that like playtime or anything.
Right.
And then the second one stayed home with my husband, and he, took care of her during those infancy things,
Hmm.
days. So here I am working 9 to 7, 5 days a week at a credit union with a very irregular schedule. I can't really go to anything, any school events unless they're planned like a month and a half ahead of
Right.
time because I make the schedule, like a month and a half ahead of time. And
Hmm.
it was a mess. So I was like, I did not want to come back here after I have this baby. So I decided that I was gonna figure out a way to make money from home, and I actually started with a blog called The Determined Mom. That was originally supposed to be my blog.
Hmm.
And then I ended up realizing that it was going to take a lot of energy that I didn't have when I had an infant to write all that stuff. So then I was already licensed as an insurance agent in home and auto. So then I just went and got licensed in health, and I worked in the insurance industry for a few months, and I absolutely hated every second of it. It was it was miserable. So for
Oh,
anybody that works in the insurance industry, blessings to you because it's not for me.
like not for me, but okay for you.
Not for me, let me just say. So I hated every minute of that. And then I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try virtual assisting because I had, like at that point, I don't know, like 13 or 12 years of management experience and all of the admin and all of that stuff. So I decided to do that. And I got my first client is actually a marketing agency. And I still work for him to this day. I do ads and social media and things like that. But he paid for me to learn SEO because he asked me, like, what do you want to learn about? Like, what is the thing that you would love to focus on? And I said, well, I'd love to learn SEO. And he was like, okay, well, I'm going to, take this course and this course and this course. And then
Wow.
I'll help you. Yeah. So he's awesome. He's a
Yeah,
great,
that I mean that's very rare that your client is going to help you, further your experience and your abilities.
yeah,
So
he's an
that's
awesome man. He has four daughters, and he's, in his 50s, and he just kind of took me under his wing. So
awesome.
I love him still to this day. But anyway, so yeah, so that kind of started my journey, and I started learning SEO, and I learned about business, and I really, in 2019 is when I really decided like, well, my business is crazy powerful, because
Mhm.
that's the year that they had searched or they had changed the search results from, organic websites to the Google My Business listing. So then I realized that like this is taking off and this is where the power is at. So I started, um, you know, using his client profiles to see how quickly I could get them ranking or how
Mhm.
quickly, I could increase their phone calls or website visits or direction requests and things like that. And I realized that it's very, very short period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of how it started. And I just transferred, I stopped doing regular SEO and I just focused on Google My Business.
That's awesome. And it's interesting because we're in a group together, and I remember someone posted about I think they were just posting about your topics or things you would want to speak on if you were asked to speak. And I saw that you were, interested in talking about Google My Business. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to get her on because, I am a big proponent of Googling, making sure that you are found on Google and that you understand the power of Google. But truth be told, like people have told me I found you on Google, right? But when I think about Google My Business specifically, I don't know anything about it. So I'm like, if I don't know, how many other people out there don't know? And so I think it is very valuable to have you on. So I was so thankful that you agreed to be on today.
Yeah, I'm very excited. And like I said, I could talk about Google My Business in my sleep because I just love it so much. And I love seeing the growth,
Yeah. Yeah. So like I'm going to kind of throw it to you regarding what is Google My Business? Let's start at the basics, I guess. What is Google My Business and what types of businesses is it best for?
Sure. So Google My Business is a free directory listing that basically you can, create your own listing and manage it, but it's served by Google. So it's a free product and it doesn't cost you anything, which I think is probably the most amazing part. That probably is going to change coming down the road soon, but it is absolutely amazing and it's so powerful. So you list your business name, your all of those things, and hours, phone number, website, and it gives Google some place to store all of your information so then that way people can contact you directly from there. Now,
is it like almost like Yellow Pages for the internet? Would you think of it like that, or like a whitelisting or something?
I
like
can show you if you'd like.
books?
Yeah. Do you want me to show you what
That
it
would
is?
be great. That would
Okay. I will show you. All right. So I already have one pulled up here. So what I did, and I spelled Portland wrong, but thank God Google corrects us on those things. So I did graphic designer Portland, right? So what comes up is a bunch of ads, right? And I think we are all pretty much trained to ignore the ads at this point. I don't know about you, but I usually just scroll down.
Scroll on down.
Yeah. So you can look here and see these 3 listings. So these are listings that are actually Google My Business listings. So these listings are probably managed by these designers. And they have, the reviews here. You can click easily to get to the website and the directions. You can click on the phone number. You can see their hours. You can see their address. So much information is here. That is a Google My Business listing. And then if you click on more, you're actually going to get a map view and you're going to get a list over here on the left of, those results. So these are all service-based businesses. If you see any here that don't have an address listed, that means that they are not a location-based business. So this one, for example, Moto Interactive Branding, even though it's an ad, they actually work from their home or they don't actually see clients in person. So that's a really important thing to note, that you can do that. And you had asked the question of, who is Google My Business for? It is for everyone that has a business that can serve clients locally. Okay. So if you sell something, if you have a service, as long as you can serve someone in your local area, as well as, I don't know, in Australia or New Zealand, it doesn't matter where, as long as you have that little tiny caveat that you can serve people locally, then you can have a Google My Business listing.
Oh, you touched on something. So for example, I am based in Tennessee, but I serve people all over the world. So would my listing just be specific to Tennessee, but I just have something in it that says I serve people everywhere, or how does that work?
So what I recommend is you can say that you serve people all over the world. You can literally pick countries, you can pick cities, you can pick states, you can pick counties, you can pick zip codes. My method that I like to use for my clients is I asked them, where are your best clients from? You know, where, what types of clients are you going for? And I actually have someone that I just did an optimization for this week, and she is in the Portland area,
Mm-hmm.
but she can serve anyone from anywhere. So I asked her, okay, well, where are your best clients? She said Minneapolis, she said New York, Seattle, Portland, and there was one other one, but I can't remember where. So, we picked 5 cities, and what we did was I researched the most affluent zip codes in those 5 cities. So
Mm.
you get 20 different locations that you can select for your, where you want to be displayed. And so what I did was I picked 5 cities and 4 of the most affluent zip codes in all of those 5 cities for her to be displayed in. So it's really about strategy
Mm-hmm.
and about understanding your clients, understanding who you want to be serving, and those kind of things.
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting. Because I remember back in the day, I remember setting up a Google, I guess it was called something else, I think, at the time that I originally set it up. And
Yep.
that was at the time they were requiring you to have an address. It didn't have the option that I think it has now of you saying that you don't have a physical address. And so that was kind of that I didn't want to put anything in because I'm like, I don't want to just list a PO, you couldn't list a PO box, I think.
Yep.
And then I didn't want to put my home address. And so I was kind of like, what do I do here? I
Yeah.
remember going through that.
Yeah. And I think Google realized that there's a ton of businesses that don't work from offices or, that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So they were like, okay, I think we need to fix this problem. So that problem has been solved. And you literally don't even have to show your address. So I'll show you my listing, which I haven't updated. So embarrassingly, um, I am not updated. So that's great. But you can see here. So it's going to be, for some reason it shows like that. It's because I manage it. So
Mhm.
I'm Googling it, but I'm also managing it myself. So you can see that I literally have no address, and you can see that my service area shows like North America, basically.
Gotcha.
So I did North America, and then I did specific cities near me.
Mhm.
That way I'll show up for those
Gotcha.
cities. So
And this may be getting a little off topic, I don't know. So the reviews that show when you do, so like yours, I see you have 18 Google reviews. Is that part of your Google My Business, or is that a separate um, segment that feeds into Google My Business?
nope, that is part of Google My Business. And like if you go to a restaurant or a coffee shop or wherever and you leave a review, that is on their Google My Business listing. So it's really important to note that this is one of the most important components of Google My Business as far as public perception and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what you do and those kind of things. It's really, really important to know um, that collecting reviews is important, that, your ratings are important, but
Mm-hmm.
more important than that is you responding to them and making sure that you're interacting with those clients, because by doing that, you're showing Google that I really care about my clients, I really care about my listing, and I want to make sure that all of that information is up to date. And I'm going to do so by responding to the reviews I get.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's a good point. So where do you go to grab the what am I trying to say? Where do you go to is there like a link that you go to if say that you had I'm trying to use examples of some of my clients. Say you're at a pop-up event and you want to give people the option of reviewing you on the spot. Would you just pull up your Google listing and just have that option for them to click it? Or is there a specific URL that you send people to?
There is a specific URL, and what I love to do, I provide all my clients with their own QR code. So if you are in that, space,
Mm-hmm.
what you're going to do is go into the back end
Mm-hmm.
of your listing, and then you scroll down, and it's going to say share. Let's see, share review form right here. So you
Mm.
click this, and this is the link that you're going to share. Okay, so you're going to copy that. And there's like a free QR. Yeah, so qr-codegenerator.com. You literally just come over, paste that in here. And they have some cute, little frames and stuff that you
Mm-hmm.
can do it. You can change the shape and the color and all that stuff. And then you literally just download that, print it on a piece of paper, take it with you to the event, and voila, you have a
Nice.
way for people to quickly find you, not having to type something in. They just scan it with their phone and you're good to go.
And I love that. And I love that thank you for letting me just throw that, because I know we didn't plan that.
Yeah,
Because a lot of my clients, one of the main things that I want everybody to understand is when you're in an event or in a specific situation, you need to take all the steps, right, or preparations to be able to think through what is it that I need from this individual, whether it be a client or a lead or whatever the case may be. Don't let that opportunity slip by you. And
yes.
so, using that pop-up event situation, you have people there purchasing from you, you have people there trying your product. That is a great time for you to get those reviews and to get the feedback from people, instead of trying to send an email after the fact, or having a separate place where you got to take the recommendation, and then what can you do to get it into Google without it looking like you're just adding stuff in for yourself. So
And
this
if
is
you,
great.
that's a good point too. If you try to add stuff in for yourself, like if you try to add reviews that were given to you, you're just going to be shut down.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a roofing client who accidentally from his phone went into the front end of his listing and posted
Mm.
a photo as a customer instead of going through the Google My Business app on his phone and posting it as the owner. And he got shut down for like 2 weeks. It took me a lot of work to try to get his listing
Wow.
reinstated because they were
Like they're trying to fake the system.
yeah.
So can you speak on that for a little bit? So what is your recommendation for if you have received a review and you're wanting to get it added to the Google review bucket? Is that a no-no, or is there a specific way? I'm kind of just want to be clear on what you just
There
stated.
is no way other than having that client write the review on Google. So
Okay.
you have to send them your link, request that they do it on Google, and then, go from there. I personally would recommend that you choose one review platform, and Google is the most trusted place for reviews. So if it
Mm-hmm.
was me, I would be choosing Google. Obviously, I do for my clients. And, choose that one platform and stick to it. So if you're directing people to your Facebook page, that's fine. If you're directing people to Yelp or wherever, that's fine, but choose one
One.
and direct all of them there. Don't be like, oh, I need a review over here and a review over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The authority of search is Google.
Got you. And is there anything, well, this is a two-part question. Number one is there a way to show your Google reviews on, say, your website? Is there like a plugin or something that you can use, or is there HTML code that they provide that you can use to do that? Or, and kind of the second part of that question, is there anything wrong with taking what someone has put on your Google listing and typing it somewhere else to show that, hey, I got this review?
Yes, so that's a great question. There are plugins. So Google does not actually provide any coding or anything like that for your website for you to display, but there are a ton of plugins out there that you can use to, display those either as a slideshow or, a gallery or anything like that. And then that way you can display them. I personally will just take them and put them on my website. So you can also do that because you own those reviews and you own, what they say.
Mm-hmm.
So I just stick them, I think I showed you. I just stick them on my website. I gotta find one. There's actually one that was on my Google, or not my Google group, my Facebook group, and someone had posted that, and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
let's use that. So here are some Google reviews. So I just copy them, use their Google picture, and yeah, so
Awesome.
you can definitely do that as well.
Awesome. So
Yeah.
what other juicy information do you have for us?
Oh, I've got lots. I can talk about this all day long.
Bring it
So
on. Bring it
um,
on.
Google has something that's pretty cool. It's kind of like social media posts. So you can actually create a post. I'm going to go in here and you'll be able to see my previous posts. So I
What?
have,
I didn't know you could do all this.
oh yeah, this is where the good stuff is. This is like my favorite part of Google because you can, so I have a podcast as well called The Determined Mom Show. And so every time I release an episode, I will also release the information here. So you can see, you can
Wow.
also include links. So I have a link for people to sign up for Aweber because it's the email platform that I use, but that's what this episode was about. You can
Hmm.
also put a learn more button and link directly to the episode if you want. Um, I mean, you can link to blogs, you can link to products, you can link
So
to.
now I'm going to stop you for just a second. Scroll back up for a second.
Mhm,
So in this is your podcast episode 88, I see.
mhm.
So you have signed up for Aweber free here. Is this just saying if you want to become an Aweber um,
Customer.
customer
Yeah,
versus signing up for your mailing list?
right, exactly.
Okay, okay. Because I was like, wait a second, what?
Yeah, no, because this was all about, and you can do that. I mean, if you wanted to say, like, sign up for my mailing list, there's no reason why you couldn't put that in there.
I
So,
got you though, but that specific podcast episode was about Aweber, so that makes
yeah,
perfect sense. Okay, gotcha, gotcha.
yeah. So you can, this call to action button, there are actually 6 different calls to action that you can use, and I'll show you where those are. So you go to post, and then up here you have COVID-19 update, which has been added since last year. You have add offer, add update, add event, or add product. For those with a product-based business, I highly recommend you spend the time, and as long as you don't have like 300 products, you know, um, if you have 300 products, add in your top 10 or
Yeah.
whatever, you know. But I highly recommend that you go through and add your products, and you can post a picture, post a description, post a price, and then you can literally link from your Google My Business right to the purchase page.
Ooh. So
Yeah.
if you had like, for example, I know you have a membership. So would you use that to point people to your membership since technically it is a product?
Yeah, you could do that. Definitely. It's super powerful.
Yeah.
Um, the other thing that I love is events. And of course, we're in a space now where we don't have a lot of actual in-person events, but
Right.
you can add virtual events in
Oh,
as
that's
well and link right to them. And they will actually show up. So I don't know if you've ever done this. Um,
no, Amanda, you are giving me so much life right now.
but if I go to search for events near me, what happens is Google finds events near me, right? So
Yes.
if I go to search more events, these are the ones that are coming up here. So you can see there's a Valentine's Day event here close by, I guess. And the other thing you can do is go over here, you can filter by free events. And this is a highly underused part of Google, and I wish everyone would know about it. So that's why I love talking about it, because if everybody knew about it and then we all posted to it, we could find really cool events like that.
Yeah.
But up here you can filter. So if I only want online events, because obviously I don't want to go anywhere because I don't leave my house, but you can literally just go and look at all the, these
Ooh,
events.
I
You can
love
save the
this. I have
event.
an event coming up this month and I'm like, ooh, note to self. Let me get out here and
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like free software day. What is that? I have no idea, but you can save it and you can go back to your actual, like on Google Maps, you can go to your settings and just look it up. So
nice.
super cool. Now back to the posts. Update is my favorite, and that's what I usually almost always use.
Mm-hmm.
And offer is just like if you have an offer or, special or something like that, you can use that. So you want to always, always, always add a photo or a video to your post.
Okay.
Videos have to be under 30 seconds. So if you're adding like a minute long or a 15-minute video, it's not going to work.
Gotcha.
So it has to be under 30 seconds. And then you have 1,500 characters right here in order to, write a little blurb or something.
Mm-hmm.
You have like a blog post or something, you might want to just do a little excerpt of the blog post and then, your featured image from your blog and then go from there.
And is there a specific dimensions of the photos or videos, or you can put vertical or horizontal, or it doesn't matter?
Yep, you can put both, and Google actually allows you to like crop it on there.
To
You
do what on
almost
there?
always Yeah, I'll show you because it's
Okay.
kind of confusing at first. I'm just gonna grab a picture. These are from clients. So if I wanted to upload this picture, for example, it's gonna always make it square by default. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I think that picture, oh no. So you have to go into crop, okay? And you're gonna see it's
I
gonna cut off the
gotcha.
sides. So
Mm-hmm.
you can
I'm
go
with
like this. And then what Google's gonna do is it's just gonna add some black border at the top and the bottom.
Gotcha.
So it's just gonna kind of like condense it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's how you do the pictures. And you almost always have to crop. And then for the call to action, this is my other favorite part. I have so many favorite parts, but you can actually add a booking link. You can add an order link. You can add a buy button, a learn more button, which I usually use for podcasts and blog posts, those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up. This is a great place for you to add that sign up for your email list, because when you click this, you can put any link down there that you want.
Nice.
So it's very cool. And then call now will actually just default to your normal business phone number. So
Wow.
preview it if you want. This is what my post is going to look like because I literally did no text. But if I'm going to see what text I have in here. That's my review page. Okay. So I'm going to preview it. And now it's going to say, hello, Dana, call now. So, and that's it.
And
So,
so all of this shows up on when they click on your Google listing, your Google My Business listing, your feed, if you will show up under it.
yep. And let me show you. So you can actually view your own profile on Maps and search. So I'm going to show you what it will look like. So it's going to show up down here at the bottom, right here.
Mm-hmm.
See, it says call now. I have a question about Google My Business or anything else marketing. So you can literally click call now.
Oh, that's wonderful. Okay.
And then right here, this is how it shows up on Google search. So basically I've searched for it, and on the right-hand side is where it shows up. You can see I have products here, and then down here is where those listings are gonna, or the posts are gonna show up.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I have good news for you.
Mm-hmm. I like
You
good.
don't have to do this manually every time you want to do it.
Oh.
Um, I use a tool that I absolutely love called Social Bee. And it is my favorite social media scheduling tool. And the reason for that is because it schedules to places that most schedulers don't schedule to.
Mm. I've never heard of Schedule B, so this is interesting. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. So it schedules to Facebook profiles, Facebook pages, Facebook groups. It schedules to Google My Business. It schedules to LinkedIn pages, so like the company page.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
it also schedules to LinkedIn groups. And you can also schedule to Instagram. And I just think it's amazing. So this
Does
is
it
what
do
I do.
LinkedIn profiles or just pages and groups?
LinkedIn profiles and pages.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So this is what I use. And you can literally spend like 1 hour to 2 hours a month on Google My Business, scheduling out your posts, and then, let it go. So
Is this a paid service or do they have free options and then up, the level up?
this is a paid service. I got my version on AppSumo, and then I upgraded. So I actually have like 25, and you can add different workspaces. So I have all my management clients in
Mm-hmm.
a different workspace, and then I have my own in this workspace.
Gotcha.
So you can add different workspaces for different things. Um, but it is a paid tool, and I think it's around $50 a month, like $49 a month.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth its weight in gold. Like, it's amazing. So
Cool.
yeah. So do you have any other questions before I stop my screen share?
I don't know. Let me see. Okay, so we talked about who it's for. We talked about all the different, I mean, like you've given me so much information right now that it's just So I think,
digesting it. Yeah, it's hard.
yeah, it's like just trying to digest and just like, because I
Yeah.
mean, there are so many things that I think Google offers, and just like you said, utilize them. First of all, knowing they're there, and
Mhm.
then taking the time to go in and fill that information out and populate it.
Yeah.
Um,
I will show you one other thing that I think is really important, and Google is going to start focusing on it more this year. I think they're going to add some more selections and more options. That is attributes. So right here, you can click this, and right now they have Black owned and women led. So
nice.
those are the two attributes. They also have, excuse me, they also have health and safety attributes. So for those who like maybe you're like a pop-up, like
Mhm.
are you gonna check my temperature or any of
Right.
those things. So you can actually check any of those things that are pertinent to your business.
With
So
that.
that way people know that safety information with the whole
Mhm.
COVID thing. And then you also have an option to do online appointments. Google is rumored to be kind of beefing this section up this year. So they're going to add a lot more options and give you a lot more options for, consumer facing information.
Mhm. Mhm.
The other thing that you can do that's only available on some profiles is LGBTQ friendly.
Mhm.
And that is typically on location based businesses that are more like salons and, spas and things like that. So
Mhm.
not
Mhm.
exclusively. Restaurants can get that as well. But for the most part, that is where that designation lies. The
Right.
other thing that you can do is under hours, under more hours, this is really important for restaurants and things like that. You can add brunch, delivery, pickup, senior hours, drive through, takeout, happy hour, kitchen. So there's a
Well, I love that online service hours.
Mhm. Yeah. So you can add so many different things and make your profile as easy to understand for people as
Mhm.
possible. So
Yeah, because
each
I
of
mean, I can
those,
use myself as the example. I have well, most people would consider it weird hours, right? So I have a block at lunch, I have a block in the blocks in the evening and on the weekends. And so I have always struggled whenever I'm approached with a scheduling, Facebook does this as well, where there's a block for you to put in your time. And it's like, well, these are my base blocks, but I do have pockets of other times, that I fill in. But, just being able to acknowledge that this is a virtual business. So there's some other opportunities here.
yeah, and you can add that in. So you can add as many time blocks. So like on Monday, if I wanted to add a second,
Oh,
you know,
nice.
block of
Okay.
time, I'm gonna work from 8:30 to, I don't know, which is my bedtime. So I'm definitely not
Right.
working then. But
Oh,
uh,
but that's good to see. Yeah.
yeah, so you can add like secondary hours too for each day.
Hmm.
So it's super, super flexible.
Oh, I love that. Because I mean,
Mhm.
I think it's important specifically of looking at those gaps, between the typical 9 to 5 job versus, all of my clients are side hustlers, or majority of them are side hustlers. So their hours are going to be strange, and the way that they do business is not going to fit into this box of what business is supposed to be, right? So I'm loving seeing different apps and websites and things really taking that into consideration as they build out their products. I think that's valuable.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
Hmm.
So,
Definitely.
mm. I think
Oh,
I've shown you all of the fun goodies in the back end that I can think of. The other thing that you can that is fun is just looking at your insights and making sure that you're happy with how things are going, and
mhm.
it'll tell you like how many times your listing was displayed on search and maps, and it'll show you different calls to action and things like that. Mine isn't like super busy because I don't get a lot of business from Google My Business because the people that I'm targeting don't know about Google My Business.
Right.
It's kind of a weird space to be in.
Right.
However, they don't know that they need it and they don't know the power of it. So that's
Mhm.
my thing. I use that on other platforms to educate.
That's
But
hilarious. It's like, what comes first, the egg or the chicken, right?
exactly, that's exactly the situation that I'm in. So While I have it, I don't actually use it how I use it for my clients. But I have a client in the Portland area, and
Mhm.
she's only been with me since like mid-December. And in the first month, we were able to increase her call volume by 26%. Um,
Wow.
so from, December, which December is traditionally a busy month, but over December, in January, we had a 26% increase in her call volume. Now she's a salon, so she does like eyelash extensions, hair,
Mhm.
she does so many different things. And just by tweaking her profile, we're able to get her up there, and kind of she's slowly moving past her competitors.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's so important. And one of the things, I talked about is you got to be found on Google. Like that is what we all do. When we're looking for something, we Google it. And so being able to beef up your appearance, right, on the Google listings and Google rankings and all of that is so valuable.
Yeah.
And this is just adding to, some of the things that we were already talking about. This looks like it really adds value and power to your listings in Google.
Yeah, it does. And you want to be that first, like if I go back to this screen, you want to be in this top three, right?
Yeah.
And the only way you're going to get there is by managing your profile and posting, and making sure that you're providing all the information that you can to Google, and let them know that, hey, I'm here and I care about my customers, and I care about, what my perception is out there. So I think all of that is really important.
Yeah. So those analytics you showed, do those tie into Google Analytics?
So those are just for Google My Business. They're
Okay.
not for your website.
Okay.
But you can use Google My Business as a source in Google Analytics to, track how
Got
many people are coming from Google My Business. But you really don't need to, because if they click on your website, then you know that they've gone to your website.
right.
you know.
What? Yeah. No,
So
that's good to know.
yeah. So it's interesting to note. So like these two people here, they're paying to be here, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're paying about 4 cents, or not 4 cents, that would be really nice. They're paying about $4.37 per click to
Mm-hmm.
get someone to go to their website. But it's very competitive, it's expensive. And if you were to just really work, and even just for a couple months, and then have your plan, just kind of monthly plan in execution, then you're going to be able to be in these top three, and you're not going to have to pay for it. You're going to get clients for it. You're, you're saving money.
Yeah.
But you're also increasing your revenue.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Amanda, this has been so valuable. This has been so, so valuable. So
Yeah.
I don't want to get off of this call without talking about your membership, because I know that you also have a membership. It was so funny. I saw that and I was like, ooh, I want to ask her, like, what made you decide to start your membership? And then, first of all, tell us a little bit about your membership. And then, if you don't mind, telling me about like the decision to create your membership.
Yes. So when I first started with SEO, I realized that it's super complicated. There are many layers of it. And I realized also that there weren't a lot of resources that weren't mansplaining the SEO. you know, like um, like a lot of the SEO gurus are men, and they tend to have a certain I don't know, persona about them, right? And I found myself not enjoying learning from them. I mean,
Hmm.
I was learning, but it wasn't an enjoyable process. So I realized that there was a void in that SEO education piece, and explaining all that. So I decided that I would create an SEO course that kind of maps out all of those things, and
Hmm.
specifically gear it towards mom business owners. So I created the membership onlinemarketingformoms.com. And basically, you just sign up, and it's $37 a month, and you can learn. There's many courses in there, not just SEO, but there's a very large course on SEO that helps you to really get the basics.
Mm-hmm.
There's a glossary, there's tons of information in there. And I mean, tons of information. So in that course alone, there's like 52 lessons on SEO, and you can
Mm-hmm.
actually, work through them as you work on your website. So it's
Yeah.
kind of nice because you can actually go and optimize and those kind of things. And I do speak in plain language, so I don't, like I'm not like assuming that you already know everything, and
Mhm.
like, because everybody's learning, and
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 they're
there's
all at
all
different levels. Yeah.
exactly. So that was really my reason for it. And then I have a Google My Business course in there. I have, time management. I have so many different things in there. I have an Aweber email course actually taught by Aweber.
Mm-hmm.
There's just a lot of information in there that can really help you to kind of accelerate your business and grow, and understand things that are definitely a little more complicated elsewhere.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. That was one of the reasons why I started mine, because you've got this vast amount of information, and you want to, it's like you want to give it to the people,
Yeah.
but it's so much and everybody's at a different level. And just being able to say, hey, if you need help in these areas, go here. It's all there. You can pick and choose as you want. And just digest it as quickly or as slowly as you want, because that's, as a busy mom, we all know the
Yeah.
children need you, they need you, when your husband needs you, he needs you. And with that pocket of time that you have to work on your business, it may be 30 minutes, it may be 20 minutes, and just being able to go in and digest information and put it into action quickly, and at your leisure, is humongous as far as value.
It is. It really is. And I actually hosted a summit last April, which the timing couldn't have been better, but I didn't know that at the time when I was
Mhm.
planning. I started planning it in December of 2019, and then it ended up, happening in April of 2020, called the Business Mom Summit. So it was just 40 speakers, just, delivering tons of value. All of those sessions are actually also available in the Online Marketing for Moms membership. So you
Oh,
get
that's awesome.
unlimited
Now,
access
see,
to
you
all
know,
of
you
this.
just opened a can, right, Amanda? Because I'm like, I have been wanting to do a summit for so long, but just the idea of it is kind of daunting, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, like, what made you want to do the summit, and how did you go about the process of getting it all? Like, how did you get it all together?
So it was complicated, but it was fun, because I met 40 amazing women that I
Right.
now have like deep connections with because I worked with them for a couple months and,
Hmm.
planning this. So that was my favorite part, by the way. Um, but I just decided that I'm like a connector. I love connecting people. Like if I know this person, I'm going to introduce you to that person. And then that
Hmm.
way you can, do all the things and meet each other and collaborate. And
Yeah.
so I am super passionate about connecting people and also educating. So I was like, okay, how can I get as much information out there? And virtual summits were kind of a thing back then, not as much as they were in the rest of 2020. The
Hmm.
rest of 2020 was like everything was virtual. Um, but it was a labor of love, and I just really wanted to get as much information out there to mom business owners in a really digestible format so that way they can learn. And I also had Q&A sessions in my Facebook group after each session to allow them to like pick the brain of, whomever that speaker was. So
Right.
it really allowed for a lot of information to be, disseminated. And
So were your sessions live, or were they pre-recorded, and then you had when it aired, you had them come on for an hour?
they were pre-recorded. So I used a software called Hey Summit, and I don't know if you've ever heard
Mm-mm.
of that, but it's a really cool summit platform. It's literally just for summits, and you can upload your videos in there. Give all of the speakers access to the back end, and they can put their information, edit things, and it's just a really, really easy platform to
Mhm.
use for that. So that part was really easy. I just had a spreadsheet that I went off of, and I had an application, and that application will go into the spreadsheet, and I wouldn't have to add any of that information in manually. So I think there's a lot of automation that can
Yeah.
help when you're planning a summit. So, and also using the right technology. I think
Yeah.
that's huge too.
Yeah.
So,
For sure. Yeah, because I've seen people, I like to kind of break things down, especially if I'm considering doing it myself and just seeing how different people are doing it. Because there's so many different ways to do the same thing, right? And this past week, there was a young lady who was doing a summit, and she actually did it live, but she had it feeding to her Facebook page. And it was just a free summit. It wasn't one that had like at the end you buy if you want to have the replays or what have you. And so she just had it feeding to her Facebook page. And my understanding or my impression was that she was just using it to help build her mailing list and to get more people aware of her products and her services. But seeing that versus I've seen both, right? And I've purchased all different types of summit packages or bundles and or learning bundles and things like that, where it's a summit of sorts, where it's not a summit of live stuff, but that you have the ability to you have all of these speakers, all these I don't even know if I'd call it a summit. It was courses, but
yeah,
it was bundled together. So for $99, you would get like 100 and some odd courses that you could access.
yeah,
And then I've had people teaching, and then you have the pay to get all the recordings after. So I've
yeah.
seen it all different kinds of ways. So that's interesting. I didn't even know that they had a summit platform
Mhm.
now.
Oh yeah, there's lots of them. I actually host a networking group now, though, that I use a particular software called AirMeet. And if
I've
I
heard it,
was doing
Ermi.
it,
Yeah.
I would use AirMeet for the summit.
You're like now.
Yeah. I wouldn't use Hey Summit, I would use AirMeet. So yeah.
And why is that? Is there it just technology was easier or?
It's super cool. So it allows you to have like different speakers, and you can schedule time slots, and you can actually put them on stage. So they will be like on the stage, and then you can also have, there's a lounge area where you can actually,
Oh.
set different tables
Mm-hmm.
to different topics and put like 4 to 8 people at a table and allow them to converse like during breaks or whatever. And in that way, it really not only, I feel like a lot of summits are just like you sitting there watching your
Not
watching,
really engaging with the people.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with that.
But a platform like AirMeet allows you to actually make connections. So if you're at the network marketing table or the business to business table, you're making those connections with people that are in that same industry as you,
Mm-hmm.
and those are invaluable. That's worth
That's nice.
more than all the information at a summit.
That's really nice. Yeah, I've been to conferences, everything switched to kind of virtual conferencing. And so they wanted to have those types of feelings. It wasn't AirMeet, but I don't remember what the platform was they were using.
Mhm.
But yeah, it had kind of like the breakout room situation, where you could just chat. And then they had your sponsor area, where
Yes.
they could do different presentations, and then they had the, as you would call it, the stage where these are the people who are speaking right now,
Yeah.
type of thing. So
And something that would interest your audience is there's also the ability to have vendors. So you can give your vendor like their own space on AirMeet,
oh,
and
that's
they can set it up and they can, sell from that spot. It's pretty cool.
oh, that does sound cool. Yeah, just and you hit the nail on the head. A lot of my clients would want sponsorship vendors and things like that to be able to afford to do certain things in their business. Um, and don't I'm kind of talking to them right like now, like don't sleep on the fact that you can do that, and you may not have the collateral right then, but getting people to sponsor you or getting those vendors to come in and help pay for a specific part of whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, is huge in helping you level up your business, even though you may not have the cash in hand.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's basically how I funded my summit, was with sponsors.
That's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, people will see that. They'll see that you did this big thing and they will make assumptions that, man, I don't have that kind of, and here you just said, I did it with sponsors. So
100%.
that's
So
awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Amanda, thank you so much for sitting and spending some time with me here today. Do you want to tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and any other information you would like to share with the listeners?
Sure. I would love to. So I am available on all platforms except for Twitter because I don't like Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, personal thing. I think I find it like, I don't know.
Why?
But yeah. So don't look for me on Twitter.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm pretty much everywhere else. You can just Google Amanda Tento and you can find all of my things, and you can find me everywhere. You can listen to my podcast on all of the places: iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Spotify, all of those places.
Apple, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the Determined Mom Show. And I also have a couple of Facebook groups. So one is for the Determined Mom Show. So it's just a group of amazing determined moms, entrepreneurs that are in there. And we just share a lot of support and value and promotions and things like that. And then I also have one specifically for Google My Business. It's called Mastering Your Google My Business to Increase Your Revenue. So that's a group where I post a lot of educational things for Google My Business. So those are the best places to find me. And I'm also on Clubhouse, and I do host regular Google My Business education rooms and Q&As. So you can find me there. It's just at Amanda Tento.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this with me. I really enjoyed our session. I learned a lot. And I hope everybody else did too. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I was very excited for the invite.